I'm a music producer, and here's what I thought of Bring Me the Horizon's new album. On May 24th, Bring Me the Horizon released the second album in their post-human series, Next Gen. This is a metalcore album, which is usual for them, and whilst I don't really usually listen to this kind of music, I did this week because there was nothing else to listen to. That being said, I am happy I gave these guys a go, because there's some really interesting aspects of this album. The record starts with Utopia, and I'm gonna be honest, the titles on this album are shit. But perhaps because I love everything called Utopia, this song really did it for me. It's energetic, it's fun, it has highs and lows. It's not all death, destruction and screaming, and to be able to make such a massive mix sounds so unmessy is very impressive. As the album continues to kool-aid, we not only witness the greatest title on the album, but also the greatest song, at least in my opinion. I actually thought it was fantastic. I found the lyrics to be very good, and the chorus as Bring Me the Horizon as you can get. And so, again, another song I recommend. At this point, I was thinking to myself, this is weirdly good. And whilst there are some more interesting songs following Kool-Aid, to me, the quality begins to drop off. What is at first fascinating, unique, a band at the top of their genre, begins to sound less interesting. Whilst the first 6 tracks of the 16-track project are very good, I was finding myself to get a bit bored by track 7. I will say I love the electronic elements of this album. It's kind of a USP to the band, and yet there is not enough to save it. And look, I'm not saying the songs are bad, but they do begin to sound repetitive. I quite like that the album has highs and lows, but they just don't lean into it enough. And to be honest, this is very subjective. I like, but I don't love metalcore, and so it's easy for me to get tired by a tracklist I find repetitive, but for many people, they will adore this. That being said, I think you can objectively make the conclusion that Bring Me the Horizon does lose vision halfway through this album. It just begins to sound too bloated and lost within its own tracklist. I believe their first post-human escapade worked better because it was only 10 songs long, 30 minutes, and while songs like Utopia showcase distortion, angst, peacefulness and introspection, the songs increasingly lose those latter 2 descriptions. Of course, there are absolutely some exceptions. N.A. and Amen are 2 songs I will listen to and love, but the rest feel like singles that could have worked on their own, but just drown amongst so many similar tunes. Talking of singles, almost 40% of the songs were already released to the public, which is why the sonic cohesion of this album is mostly coming from the fact that the instruments remain the same and a few electronic transitions, but nothing more than that. There is no common vision. And furthermore, of the new content, 3 of the songs are called OST something, and these feel like not songs. It's like they're as long as the other songs, but they're a lot less fleshed out. Speaking of which, one of them is called Puss E, which is an awful title, and quite frankly, an awful song. Alright, I'm sounding like I don't like this album, which is just not true. None of the songs are actively bad, except for Pussy. It's just that a lot of them don't stand out enough for me to care. It gets a bit tiring, but it's definitely not trash. Look, I like this album. They're clearly very talented, especially Ollie, the lead singer. The album, however, as I've said, gets lost within itself. It has an idea, but tries to give too much with too little to offer. As one of my friends says, it doesn't help that one of the members left mid-creation of this album, and that a lot of this music was being made in a post-COVID world. But even so, there are great moments on the album, so it shows that Bring Me the Horizon could absolutely make an 8 out of 10, but they just didn't. This is a good album. I'm giving this one a 6.9 out of 10. I need to find some more interesting albums at this point. But wait, if you like this album, please like, please comment. I am begging, because the algorithm really helps when you give it a like and a comment. I love making these videos, and I'm almost at 200 subscribers, and hopefully I can keep on making these videos that I love. So all the best, and see you next week.